Well, happy Saturday to you. It's May 3rd, and my neighbors are cutting the grass. And I have the window open because it's a bit stuffy in here. But I heard it was going to get colder again today, so I don't know. I was thinking I might like to go for a hike, but I don't think it's going to happen. Because it's already after 11 in the morning. And I woke up to a picture of Donald Trump in a Pope outfit because somehow he either thinks it's funny or he deserves to be the new Pope, or I don't know. Every day there's a new ridiculous thing happening with our so-called president. It's interesting because I don't have a whole lot of Trump friends left, but I have noticed I haven't really been hearing so much from them lately. And I wonder if it's because they're now starting to realize that voting for him was a huge mistake. And he's not in his right mind, he's not healthy, but he's also doing things that are going to ruin and end some lives. But I don't really want to talk too much about him today, because there's just so much, and I could spend all morning talking about it, and I just don't want to. Instead, I would like to talk about Mark Knopfler. You might have noticed that I just uploaded a video of the song Why Worry. It was on his 1985 album with Dire Straits, Brothers in Arms. And when I was about 12, I guess, that album was released. I was almost 12 or 13 years old. Everybody was listening to Money for Nothing. And I remember I bought that cassette, and I don't even remember why. I mean, I liked Dire Straits. I liked the Sultans of Swing and all that. But, hi, Noisy, what's the matter? He just had a walk. Usually when he does this, it means he needs to take a shit. But he's already done that today, so I don't know. I guess we changed his food again. He's not farting as much, but now he's got a doggy odor. Because I think of all this salmon that's in the food. But anyway, back to Mark Knopfler. I don't remember exactly why I bought that album. I liked it, but I don't remember it being my favorite. But I used to listen to it when I would ride my bike to and from the barn where I kept my Appaloosa. And, every day I'd have to ride. It was probably, maybe about 5 miles. And my parents were definitely the free range type. So unless the weather was really terrible or I went there from school, I usually would have to ride my bike. Which I did with no helmet. And I would listen to my Walkman, and I would often play all kinds of stuff. I mean, Dire Straits, definitely that one, that Brothers in Arms, but also I had Bruce Springsteen's 10-year anniversary box set. I used to listen to that all the time. And Whitney Houston, too. Isn't that funny? But anyway, one song on there, Why Worry? Not even my favorite, but definitely one of my favorites on that album. And today I just thought it would be a pretty song to do, so I did it. Turned out nicely. In fact, I think that was my first take. Anywho, I saw Mark Knopfler perform back in 2019. It was summer. It was great summer, actually. That was the summer before COVID. And my husband and I purchased a car. We had a Volvo made for us. And we flew to Sweden to pick it up. And we drove it back to Germany. And it was really kind of cool. We went up there, we took a tour of the Volvo factory, and then we got the car, and we drove from Gothenburg the first place we stopped was Copenhagen. And we just spent a night in Copenhagen. And then we went to Rostock. I was hoping to visit a really cool prison museum there, but unfortunately they were renovating when we visited. But Rostock's a neat town. Used to be East Germany. Many political prisoners were kept there. And then from there we went to Leipzig. And that is where Mark Knopfler was having a concert. And I want to say it was July 5th. And it was a very, very cool experience. For one thing, Leipzig is a great town. It's really beautiful and happening. You would never, it's former East Germany, but it was just a really cool town. Like, they were having a wine festival and we were right next to it, so we go and listen to live music and enjoy all the wines they had. And I remember going into this one church, and there were women that were playing violin music, and I think it was Bach. I think Bach was the chorister at this church. So, of course, I got all weepy over that. And then we went, that also July 4th that year, that was the year my husband's granddaughter was born. He had just talked to his daughter, and she was due July 9th, and she had her baby girl on July 4th. So I remember celebrating that, and the fact that that was 3 days before my husband's birthday. And then the 5th, we went to see Mark Knopfler. And he had this great band, and we were in third row seats. And the only thing I did not like about it was there was this woman in front of me who insisted on taking off her shoes and then standing up on the chair and dancing in front of me. And it's like, you make a better door than window, because people behind you can't see. But also I worried because of the way she was dancing. I was afraid she was going to fall. And as she fell, she fell on me. So, but that concert was really cool because afterwards they offered recordings of it. So you could buy a recording of that particular show, which I did. And then afterwards, we walked back to the hotel. And it was not a super short walk, so I remember being a little bit pissed off because my feet were killing me. And we went into the bar and sat down, and I was in a foul mood because my feet hurt. And we ordered gin and tonics. And I looked up, and sure enough, I saw Mark Knopfler's band members sitting in the bar. And I said, "Hey, Bill, I think the band is here." And I was kind of gawking at them from afar. And then the man himself, Mark Knopfler, walked right past and went and sat in the back of the bar. And I just was like, "Oh my God, Mark Knopfler is staying here." And he was just I didn't speak to him. I didn't want to bother him. But I was very excited to see that. It was really cool. And later I said, it was a great show. Have a good night. And they said, "Oh, we're going out to party now." And I believe it. Then the next day, we had to, I think it was the next day, we decided to go back. I think we were going back home by then. And the doorman was really cool. The only thing about that is that I think I got bitten by bed bugs on my legs. But anyway, the doorman was really cool. He was loading up our car for us. And I said, "I saw Mark Knopfler in the bar last night." And he says, "Well, since you're leaving, I can say this to you. But Sting is also a guest." And he's up in the spa right now. And he came here taking a break from his tour. He did a show in Belgium, and he decided to stop off in Leipzig for a couple of nights of rest before resuming. So that was a really cool memory. And as I was singing that song, I was reminded of it. And also reminded that it's time I went to another concert. Because they kind of helped the morale. Anyway, I could have talked about something deeper today, but I felt like that would be a nice thing to talk about on this day when you're all going to be waking up to seeing a picture of Donald Trump dressed up like the Pope. It's just, what the ever-loving fuck. And talk of him having a military parade after he's just had a bunch of people fired for, supposedly to save the government money, but he's going to have a parade. Now, his birthday also happens to be the Army's birthday, so I'm sure they can justify it in that way. And it is Flag Day too, but really, usually the Army has a birthday ball on their birthday, June 14th. And I've been to a couple of those balls, and I'm sure that the one in DC is going to be quite the show this year. And it just makes me glad that my husband's retired and we live in Germany now. So, with that said, I'm going to sign off and see what Saturday holds for me. Have a good day.